So we all know we like hot things.
What?
We should do hot burgers.
You know I'm down for the heat.
Burgers are delicious when they're hot and spicy, and everything about it is good when it's hot. Lots of things are good when they're hot.
Yeah, okay. Where is this going?
I was reading about intake air temperature, and I have some ideas and why it shouldn't be hot. I first came across this idea when I saw that Turner Motorsport offered a kit that relocates the air temperature sensor position from where the mass airflow sensor is behind the airbox to in front of the airbox before the filter. The idea is that in heat-soaked situations, the car would read hot intake air temperature and pull timing. I spent a lot of time thinking about what the benefits actually would be of moving the air intake temperature position, and that led me to believe that the computer is going to do what it wants to do with all of the data anyways, and I don't want to be feeding the computer wrong information. So that put me on track to see if there's anything I could do to actually lower the temperature of the air. From there, I started looking into thermal wraps and came across improvedracing.com, and what I saw there piqued my interest enough to at least try wrapping some of the intake. I did a couple of initial tests just to see the kind of behavior and the temperatures in different situations. Low speed, highway speed, when you're sitting and stopping by traffic. In its stock format, I noticed that in most situations where you're moving at almost any speed at all, the temperatures would roll down to be within about 3 degrees of the ambient air temperature. When sitting still, it would creep up to 14 to 20 degrees above ambient temperature. And if you had the AC running, which would turn on the fan, pulling hot air in from the radiators up front, I saw it even go significantly higher than that when sitting still. The fundamental properties I expect from the tape is to be helpful in situations where you have radiant heat specifically. Being that so much of this airbox is so close to hot parts, I imagine that the tape may actually make a difference. Specifically, the front snorkel that takes in air from the very front of the car is right across from the valve cover. Where the snorkel connects to the actual airbox that houses the filter, that connection piece goes right over the coolant inlet hose to the radiator, which of course is extremely hot. So I think that is the next helpful place to treat. But with all that said, we're headed over to Terrell's to make a plan and see what we find out. Sitting here with everything crazy hot, running the AC, the intake air temperature reads as 143 degrees. Ambient air temperature is 84 degrees.
It's hot.
That's hot. Like Reaper Pepper hot. So I'm imagining pretty shortly we should be around 91, 92.
105.
That's still up there. So we'll see if killing the AC for just a few moments really does much.
It's gonna kill me, I know that.
I do know that. I can already see melting into the seat like a hot icicle out in the sun.
Hot fudge, huh? And my comment got us canceled.
Do you not like hot fudge, Terrell?
No, I don't like fudge at all, actually. Thank you. I prefer vanilla.
Noticed.
Don't want to know.
Yeah. So that's kind of our control, and I don't think we're actually going to get to true ambient because that would be inaccurate anyways.
Yeah.
As much heat shielding as you could put on this, it's still, the engine bay is going to be hotter, and therefore by the time the air gets from...
Enunciate your words.
What word? Just think the English. By the time that the air is splashed into the front radiator, gets sucked up the snorkel, through the airbox, through the filter, and past throttle body, manifold, and into the engine, it's going to be well above ambient anyways. And that's kind of where my whole point of like, well, moving the intake air temperature sensor under heat soak situations like this, it's literally only going to make a difference on the way engine behavior and timing for that first 12 seconds of driving.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's really a big difference. So I think trying to wrap the intake airbox and the snorkel, because that it is close to coolant lines, it is closer to the hot motor. If we can literally lower the intake air temperature, that's going to have a more of a desired effect than moving the air temperature sensor.
We could always just, hang a bag of ice right there.
If this turns into a drag car, that's what they do. That's not yellow calipers with like ruby red wheels and factory blue paint.
But here at Baltic Spanish, we appreciate all builds. We may wish that you don't do it, but we appreciate it. The fact that you did something.
I'm entitled to my opinion, and you are entitled to enjoy your car. Oh God, it's got the M stripes up front.
That's why I started coughing. I did not see that.
I thought you were gonna throw up.
I did not see that.
Okay.
Okay, I take back what I said.
Okay, so here's the general thought. I want to try to thermally wrap the snorkel and the airbox, because of course the snorkel is getting all of this radiant heat from the motor itself. The airbox is literally sitting over the coolant intake hose, so all of the hot coolant is going directly under that arm. And of course the airbox is very close to the engine as well, luckily on the cool side of course. But I think wrapping the snorkel and even just the side of the airbox will make a big difference. Well, a quantifiable difference at least. So I bought 2 different thermal tapes because they were both really good deals and I couldn't decide if aesthetically I would want silver or gold. But I figured at least maybe we could think about where we would want the different types. One is clearly thicker than the other, and the same with the tape. But I kind of thought we could break down where we thought we would want the hotter tape and where we would want this type of tape. Maybe we'll see what we think.
That's my piece, so I decide what's getting wrapped.
Yeah,
You don't pick.
We'll see. It's gonna depend on how sticky it is too. I don't want it to come undone and fall down into the radiator fan. I feel like
Well, that's because,
catastrophic.
if you prep things correctly,
I've decided
they
you're
don't
doing
fall
this
off.
piece.
So you can blame me if something goes wrong.
Yes.
I'm 100%, look, even that ant knows that I'm going to wrap this section much cleaner than you wrap this section.
I think I can do it. I brought a knife.
I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying mine is gonna look nicer.
I do generally tell people I'm not very good at arts and crafts, but I think I got you. As long as it makes a difference though, right?
Yeah, exactly, that's the end goal.
And pull it out is really the plan. We're gonna pull all of this out.
Yeah,
And do it on the table.
It should have been, just an intake, but this will work.
4 bolts.
And we'll look at how ugly your wraps are compared to mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is one of those parts of the car I didn't think I'd ever clean.
Well, to be honest, you don't clean any parts of the car, really, so.
It's not true.
That's very true. I hope one day we're rich and we can have a air-conditioned garage.
Cars that run.
You see? It's comments like that.
Next up, Terrell autocrosses the Sentra.
Well, considering I have an Altima.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, see?
Next up on All Nissans Look the Same.
I'm no professional rapist, but that sounded like a dirty word. No professional rapist.
I think the term is rapper, but so how would you rate working with this gold tape?
So it's pretty malleable. Obviously, we're not applying any heat or anything to it, like you would a vinyl wrap to make it.
I think it's hot
turn.
enough out here.
Yeah. So, as far as using it and just trying to add some cuts to get it around certain bends and stuff, it's really not bad.
I think that's going to be the really difficult part about using the aluminum fiberglass tape. I do not think it's going to cut well.
So, is it aluminum or aluminium?
It's aluminum coated fiberglass heat reflective tape adhesive backed 1.5 millimeters thick and 1.5 inches wide.
Can't wait to get that in my throat. No diddy.
I can't wait to clip literally just that. I'm literally gonna make this video of just you trying to get the pieces apart, and that's.
You know what? I knew you were gonna eventually get to the point where you said something about that.
I tried.
I just knew that would be the case. Go ahead. Great job. Fantastic.
I do generally tell people I'm not very good at arts and crafts.
I wouldn't let you cut something with safety scissors at this point, after seeing that.
That was rough. All right, we're almost done.
That's okay.
Why is this so bad? I do generally tell people I'm not very good at arts and crafts.
For any children watching, that's exactly what not to do with sharp blades in your hand.
Will you hold this?
No.
Where did that bubble come from?
That bubble has been there literally the entire time. Do you not recall me saying, oh, that
I heard,
bubble,
but I didn't know what the hell you're talking about.
The big ass bubble that everyone's gonna see.
You fix whatever you don't like, I'm done. It's been 2 hours.
It has been 2 hours.
Do you think we need to do the bottom is all waffle cut. So like,
No.
what do I do? Nothing's gonna stick to that.
There's
Jesus
not enough surface
Christ.
area to worry about it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad you concur.
It's ugly, but let's get it back on there.
Okay. All right, this is extremely impromptu, but we've been struggling to find time to reshoot a closing for this video, which in all honesty has been great because I've seen a wide range of numbers. I've kept my eye on the data after the install of the reflective tape. And as you'll probably see, and this is a spoiler for the next video we'll publish, the water pump failed in that car. And I believe it failed after my initial testing and the day we did the install and got the numbers after the testing, that data, which I believe may have skewed it. I don't know how much, and it's complicated to describe really what the water pump was or wasn't doing. I think it was running, I don't know how well, but I don't think the numbers we saw after the test made sense to me. Kind of made for an interesting outro that we shot that first time and didn't make a lot of sense to me. So maybe it's all for the best that it worked out that we opted to wait, and I have a lot more recent data after the water pump's been fixed, including some autocrossing, and I'm seeing the data makes a lot more sense with what they're looking at. But all told, my final summary is, and I hate that we're doing this without Terrell. If he disagrees with this, we'll make sure we get his thoughts in here as well. But if he does agree, then here you go. But I think the reflective tape really only helps in our use case in situations where you're sitting for extended periods of time. And I don't mean just at the stoplight. I mean, when you've turned the car off and you've let it sat for an hour, the radiant heat from the motor, of course, as that air is sitting there, not really going many places, it's going to continually heat up. And I saw about a 20-degree difference. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Like I said, this is very impromptu, just trying to get this done. So maybe after an hour of sitting that day, you'd see temperatures of about 140 degrees. And after the install, we saw temperatures of about 120 degrees. But that's not really going to be impactful on performance driving, because the real conclusion for me was the simple understanding of once you open the throttle body and let the air refresh and more air come through, it's going to cool down and be colder air coming in anyways. All the treatment you can do in the world, if you're just barely cracking that throttle, you're just doing gentle around town driving, the air is just sitting in the intake gathering heat. It's going to be really difficult to keep it cool. It just is. And that makes a lot of sense to me. And I think that's really, with that mindset, maybe the reflective tape helps a little bit. I'm not entirely sure, but I can say it does help with the long-term sitting. Not that that matters. In a track situation where you're driving hard for extended periods of time, I imagine it matters there, but that's not something we're gathering data on. And I'm not saying don't do this. I think it's fine. It certainly doesn't hurt anything, but I don't think you need to worry about having an air intake system that doesn't have it. We may look into cold air intake just to get that data difference as well. Not really sure how strongly I feel about it. I think the system in it from factory is fine. But we wanted to at least get this finished up and get this out there and hopefully move on with things. If you want to see follow-up information, I'll probably do little bits here and there after some of the autocross stuff. We have some data from the last weekend. We'll get some data with this upcoming weekend. So hopefully we'll have more motorsport oriented data with that for you guys. But until next time, if this was fun, please subscribe, like, comment, let us know what you think. If you hate it, if you love it, if you're enjoying it, want to see something specific, have questions, that's what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to have a good time, be a community, and try to help the community in the meantime. Thanks for watching Bolts and Spanners.